Match each of the following with the definition or description it demonstrates below. Slope-intercept form, that looks like G to me. Y equals mx plus b. Bam, there it is, G. Of course, that's a drop-down menu, so you guys have to pick that on the quiz. Standard form looks like this one. So F. All right, extrapolation. I don't know where that came from. I didn't see it on the homework, but apparently they want you to do it now. So extra would be outside of where the data is. So it looks to me like it is E, this one. It's a prediction beyond the data. I don't know if that has roots in Latin, Greek, Russian, or Chinese, okay? I just know that it looks like the answer is E. The y-intercept, where the line crosses the y-axis. That looks good. Looks like we kind of have a pattern here as well. And interpolation would be inside the data, so B. And then finally, parallel lines have, at least with these options, they have the same slope, so A. All right, we'll plot these points then. -4, 5, bam, right there. Great thing about this is that you don't even have to label them, as far as I can tell, right? So you're just putting the point on the graph, calling it good. I think it's a little bit more picky than I am, though, so hopefully it puts those right on those points for you. 2, 3, so 2, 3 right there. -2, -3, so 2 to the left, 3 down, bam. 1, -1, so 1 to the right, down 1, and then 0, -1. Oh,
Where's -5, 0?
Is it? Oh, what the heck? -5, 0. That looks good. It seems like I missed one then. 0, -1. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty good. And if you're an astronomer, you can say that that makes up some kind of pattern. Whatever you want it to be. It could be a smiley face, an angry face. You know how those astronomers are, right? Sketch a graph of x plus 2y equals -4. So, remember there's two ways to do this, right? We can either change it to slope-intercept form, or we can find points, usually the two intercepts. So what do you guys want me to do on this one? I heard slope-intercept form. If you wanted points, you didn't say it loud enough, okay? Let's give ourselves a little bit more space. So we got x plus 2y. We'll write this out. X plus 2y equals -4. And we want to change this into slope-intercept form, so we need to get rid of that x because we want to solve for y, right? And now we got 2y equals -4 minus x. But I can switch those around, right? So I can, instead of making that -4 minus x, I have a negative x term and then a -4 term like this. Now it looks a little bit more like that slope-intercept form stuff. Now we just need to get rid of that 2 that's being multiplied by the y by dividing everywhere by 2. So that gives me y equals negative, I'm going to make that -1/2 x because it is the same. And it looks a little bit more pretty. And then -4 divided by 2, which is 2. This is great because it gave us the y-intercept at 0, -2 right here, right? So I can graph that point on the line, 0, -2, which would be right here. And then I'm using the slope. I'm using the slope as -1/2, which will tell me to go down 1 and then to the right 2. So down 1 to the right 2. There's my next point, down 1 to the right 2. And that's all I can fit right there. But if I continue this pattern to the left, I can fit a few more points on this thing. And then we're just going to draw the line. Uh-oh. That's not the greatest line, but yeah, we just make those bigger, right? So, Not on the computer, but here we can do that. All right, sketch a graph of 9x minus 6y. This time we'll try finding some points on this one, even though I do think it would be a little bit easier just to change this in a slope-intercept form. But we can't make everything easy on ourselves. So let's try finding one of the intercepts. Let's try the y-intercept first, because that'd be really nice. So in the equation, 9x minus 6y equals 0, I can replace my x value with 0, and then just solve for y. So 9 times 0 is 0, that's pretty nice. Minus 6y equals 0, which really just ends up being negative 6y equals 0, right? And then we can divide both sides by negative 6, not that everyone really needs to, but that tells us that y is 0. All right. So the y-intercept is the same as the x-intercept, which happens rarely. So we have this point right here, but we can try some other point as well. Now in this case specifically, so that we don't get some kind of fractional value, I'm going to use, see, we've got this 9 and 6 right here. Okay, now you could test some points, but this gave us a pretty easy problem right here. So what I will do, nope, I won't do that actually. I will multiply, let's say, I'm going to choose an x value, but I needed to multiply by 9 so that it comes out as some kind of multiple of 6 as well. I'm thinking of 18, okay? Now again, this is all testing, so you may have to test a few different numbers if you're not using slope-intercept form, right? So instead of a 0 there, oh, I can't erase that garbage. So instead of 0, I'm using 2, so 9 times 2 is 18. So that is 18 minus 6y equals 0. So I need to get rid of that 18 now. I'm going to subtract 18 from both sides. And now I got negative 6y equals 0 minus 18 is, well, negative 18. And then finally, to solve for y, divide both sides by negative 6. And we see that y is 3. So I have this other point 2, 3. Of course, on the quiz, that's all you need. Looks like another point on this graph we could have found would have been negative 2, negative 3, just by the pattern there, okay? And then we draw the line. Okay, let's see if we can do this a little bit better. Oh, nope, that did not come out better. It's, yeah, that's fine, whatever. You know what I mean. So this line will be where x is 2. Well, on the number line for the x-axis, I can see that x is 2 right here. But not only is it x is 2 there, but it's also 2 right here and here and here and, well, everywhere there. So, seems like there's a kid's book in that, some kind of rhyme. That may not be extremely visible, but fine, I'll see if I can draw it. Okay. Oh, that turned out pretty good. All right. I'll take it. All right, here's another one. Sketch the graph 9x minus 6y equals 6. So this one actually is very similar to the one that we just did 2 problems ago. But now instead of it equaling 0, it equals 6, which is great, because if we wanted to use the 2 intercepts for this, they should be different now. But I'm leaving it up to you guys. What do you want me to do? Slope-intercept form? Very good. All right, so let's write this out and then show the work. 9x minus 6y equals 6. Remember, there isn't a right or wrong way. Just whatever's more convenient for you, then use that method, okay? So I need the 9x on the other side, so I'm going to subtract 9x from both sides. 6 minus 9x. And this gives me negative 6y. Hopefully I have enough space. Equals, I'm going to switch those around right now, so I am going to skip a step, kind of because this is a review. And then I got that positive 6, so that'll be plus 6. Well, Let's get rid of this negative 6 with the y, so divide everywhere by negative 6. And we get y equals negative 9 over negative 6. I get a positive 3/2 x. And then we got 6 divided by negative 6, which is a negative 1. So the negative takes over that operation. Instead of it being plus 1, or plus negative 1 even, that now is a minus 1. And that gives us the y-intercept at 0, negative 1, which I can graph right here. Then I'll just use the slope to figure out where the other points are. Up 3, to the right 2. That's my next point. I was a little off on that line, but that's okay. And yeah, looks like I can get this other point here. And then 3 and 2, yeah, this looks good. Yeah, I think that's good. All right. Well, let's draw the line then. It's not pretty, but it works. Find the slope of the line. Well, that's great, actually, because it's not asking for the equation, though some of you guys are going to go the extra mile and accidentally put the equation in there. Just know that you're going a little bit too far on that, okay? That's better. How do you guys want me to do this one? Rainbows. I like rainbows. All right, well, from 14 to 15, so this will give us our slope. I would add 1 to 14 to get to 15, so that's my numerator. And from 5 to 2, I would have to go to the left 3. So that denominator now is negative 3. I believe when you put this into the computer, it will automatically make it a negative 1/3 like this. And it should accept it one way or the other. Well, let's graph this one. This one already is in slope-intercept form, so if you wanted to, for some reason, you could change this into standard form if you like it so much. I'm not going to, because that would be a huge pain for me. Again, it's all perspective, okay? So we have our y-intercept here at 2, so 0, 2. That's the point that we'll start with. And then we also have the slope, which is 3. So we know the slope is 3, but I'm going to make it a fraction so I can see my rise and my run. And we can see that I'm going to go up 3 and then to the right 1. So that's my next point, but if I continue this pattern the other way, I'll have the other points on there. Again, you only need 2 points on the quiz and the homework, so a lot of this may be kind of obsolete for you. It's not a thick line, but it's better than anything I can draw. Let's see if that's... Oh, that turned out okay. Because you bring up a very good question. Well, what if it was negative? Because we can change this one even to be negative 3 over negative 1. See, the only difference there is now I go down 3 into the left 1. See how it still gave me that other point right there? I mean, we didn't really use the slope to find that other point. We kind of used the staircase method there. But it will give us the same point either way. Yeah. The following chart shows living wage jobs in Rochester per 1,000 working age adults over a 5-year period. Here's the tricky thing on this one is you guys kind of want to use all 5 parts on this thing. But they told us we just want the average, the living wage jobs from 1997 to 99. What this means is that we could ignore all the rest of that garbage. So I just want 97. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let's try this. See, I can just ignore that other stuff, okay? So all I need to do is, it's like finding slope, but we have to be careful on this one. I should have read the whole thing, so let me go back. Let me read the question. What is the average rate of change in the number of living wage jobs from 1997 to 99? But then it tells us it's jobs per year. So that helps us set up the fraction. That's why that's important there. We've got jobs. Then we got years. Because here's the problem: if you put the jobs in the denominator, you may get a very, very, very different number than what we're going to get. So the jobs, let's look at the change in the jobs. It went from 675 to 770. I get that as 95. I can use my fingers. Should come out the same. So 95 jobs. And that happened in how many years? 97, 98, 99. Bam. Oh, what the heck. Counting's hard. 2 years. Does that bother people? Well, if I divide these out, 95 jobs in 2 years, then we want the average jobs per 1 year, so we just want this to be 1 year. So I'm just going to take 95 and divide it by 2. That will tell me how many jobs per year. 47.5. Is that right? Awesome. There it is. These ones are pretty rough. They give us the equation. And then, well, I mean, if they were in standard form, that'd be, we just didn't want it to overstress people. So we got to identify the slope and the y-intercept. This first one actually ends up throwing some people off right there. Every once in a while for the y-intercept, oh, that's not a good color to use here. We see 0, 1. Okay. Worst case scenario, actually, instead of that, some of you guys know what's coming, right? -1/7. -1/7 is the coefficient of x. That's where the slope goes, okay? You guys remember that y equals mx plus b? M is the coefficient of x. That is the slope. So it's not -1/7 is the y-intercept. -1/7 is the slope. So here's another mistake we may see. Is now it asks for the y-intercept on this one. And you know what it is, right? Bam, 0. And you feel confident. You're so happy, and then it marks it wrong. That's because it's not an ordered pair. Oh, now it's good. All right, so the next one. We have a slope. The coefficient of x is this 3/4. It doesn't matter if you write it like that. And again, this is where we run into problems. We know the y-intercept is 10. It's just that it's not 10. It's 0, 10, right? Write an equation for a line parallel to y equals -3x minus 3 and passes through 4, -8. So this one specifically is parallel to this line. Do we know the slope of the line? Yeah, it's just going to be this -3 right here, okay? So we know the slope is going to be -3. Since it's parallel, it should have the same slope, but then it gives us a point right here, 4, -8. Now you guys prefer either point slope form or slope intercept form, but which way do you guys want me to do it here? Slope intercept. Let's do it. So using slope intercept will help us to identify what the y-intercept is. So we'll have to write it afterwards in slope intercept form again. And that's okay. It's all a matter of preference. So I'm going to replace my slope. We already know that the slope is -3. And then up here we have an x value that is 4. Right up here. So I replace x with 4, but then I replace y with -8 rather. Right here, right? So I got -8. Now I just need to solve for b. That will be the b value in that one. So -3 times 4 is -12. I got -8 equals -12 plus b. Now to solve for b, I'll just add 12 to both sides. And we see that 4 equals the b value. That's a 0 right there. Well, now that we've identified that, we've identified the m and the b, all we need to do is rewrite the equation. Y equals the m, which was -3, times the x, and then plus the b value, which was 4. All right, y equals, nope, it's not equals. y is greater than 2x plus 2. So when graphing this thing, we will treat it like it were an equation. So y equals 2x plus 2. This will give us the line. And the line that I get starts with a y-intercept of 0, 2, which would be right here. And we got a slope of 2. So again, seeing that as a fraction may be helpful for you. Maybe it's a waste of time. Just, do it right. So I'm going to go up 2 and to the right 1, and that's as far as I can go there. But again, I can repeat the stair steps to the left as well. That looks very nice. Now I'll draw my line. That came out all right. There's just one problem. You guys know what it is? Should be dashed or dotted, right? So with technology, we can make that look real pretty, right? Yeah, that looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but it works. Well, be careful because sometimes we just want to be done right there. The computer won't let you because you got to choose the option, right? You got to choose a side to shade in. So, what test point do we want to use? 0, 0. That sounds like a great point to test. Test 0, 0. So again, we go back to the original inequality on this thing. So instead of that being equal now, it's greater than. And we have a y value that is 0. And also an x value that is 0. Which is really just going to cancel out that term right there. So I get 0 is greater than 2. False, right? That is false. So we need to shade the other side of that line. And we got a tool to do that right here. There we go. Oh, that's very nice. I get the feeling you guys want me to cover that up with a big tree. Right? But then it has to have a friend. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Is it because of the hair? Or you guys just like drawing trees? Never mind. This one gave us a lot of points to graph. That's okay. We can still do it. The problem with this, and also on the quiz, they will not give you a graph. Okay? So it may be helpful for you guys to create your own graph. And then this is asking us for... So only the line of best fit is what we need here, so we do need to graph these points. Let's get them on. Oh yeah, we need to, I apologize. We need to label the axes. So the first quiz will be the x-axis because it is independent. And the second quiz should depend on what happened in the first quiz, right? Well, hopefully that kind of makes sense anyway. So second will be the y-axis. And our first quiz scores go all the way up to 49 is what I got. So we'll say this is 0 still. And we got what? Maybe this is 10. I don't know if I'll make it. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll say that's 10. 2, 3, 4, 20. 30. 40, bam, 50, I made it. And then my second quiz scores go all the way up to 44, so I'll just do the same thing right there. 10, 20, 30, 40. Oh, dang it. Well, here we go, the extra mile, so... All right, so the first quiz, 29, 23, I don't know, 29, 23, no, I get it about right there. I should use a different color. 29, 23, somewhere around here. 35, 33, yeah, that's good stuff. Somewhere around there. And then 36, 33, I'll just be right next to that one. 38, 36, should be up a little bit higher. 40, 38, somewhere up here again. 43, 41, something like that. 48, 42, a little bit better. And 49, 44, a little bit higher there. Something like this. Okay. Well, let's draw our line of best fit, which we don't actually need the equation for. All right. Yeah. Oh, it seems like it shouldn't go through the origin, but that'll do. Write the equation of the line with slope -5 passing through 0, 6. This one was extremely generous because they gave us the y-intercept, 0, 0, 6, right there. So when we write the equation, y equals mx plus b, well, we can see the y-intercept value is 6. So we're just going to change this to positive 6. And they also gave us the slope, which, again, very generous. So we'll just replace the slope with -5. Done. All right, this one is different. Last time they gave us 2 points. They wanted us to find the slope. This time we do need to write the equation. All right, so let's find the slope. I like rainbow method. It's so fun. 5 to -1, I would have to go down 6. That's my numerator. Down 6. From -2 to 1, I would have to go to the right 3. So that's my denominator. When I divide these, I get -2. There's our slope. Now, last time we used slope-intercept form to find the y-intercept. This time we'll use point-slope form and just simplify it into slope-intercept form. So we should get y equals the slope, which we found to be -2, times x minus an x value. Which point do you guys want to use? Which? 1, -1. Let's do that. So the x value that I have here is 1. And then the y value is a -1, so we'll make that a -1 right here. Now to simplify this, I would distribute this -2, so -2x. That's a -2 times -1, which makes that a +2. And then, of course, we got that -1 right there. So combining like terms, we got y equals -2x, nothing to combine with that. But we got 2 minus 1, which is a +1. There it is. Linear regression. This is the one where we get to draw the line, but they're not going to give us the graph. And then we got to figure out what the equation for that line is. Now, there is a little bit of wiggle room for us, but we should be able to get it hopefully pretty close. Let's find out. So I've got my x values and my y values, and I'm just going to graph these points. Well, looks like I'm going to need a scale on that. So the y values go up to 51. I can use the 4s, right? So there's 10. Nope, that's too much. Let me go back. Oh, that's too little. That should work. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That works. Now, again, on the quiz, they're not going to give you this graph. So it may be helpful or handy to have some graph paper with you. Now let's graph these points. So 124, yeah, about right there. Different color. There we go. And then 228 will be a little bit higher. And then 332, somewhere in here. 441. I think I'm hitting those lines okay. 542, and then 651, something like this. All right, so let's draw our line of best fit, and then we'll need the equation for that line. You know what? I'm going to use a thinner line. Should help us to see better what's going on. That looks better. All right, well, in this equation, again, since we're just eyeballing this, could we tell about what that y-intercept is right there? I mean, to me it looks like it's a little bit more than 16, 17 or 18. Which one do you guys want? Because it's not going to matter. Right here, so I'm just going to go 17. So I got y equals something x plus 17. I just need the slope on this thing. So where are some values we can use? Well, we already said that's 0, 17, so we should be able to use some other point. I got, well, we'll just estimate this point. I'll say that's 442. So if I use my slope, I'm going to go up to 42 from 17, 25, and then from 0 to 4 would be to the right 4. So the slope that I get is 25/4, which is about 6.25. I'm just going to keep the fraction right there. I want to say that they want the decimal on the quiz, but I would hope that they'd allow you to write the fraction on that. And that's it. We're not looking for parallel or perpendicular here. We're just looking for the equation of the line that passes through 939 and has a slope of 4. Alright, so I got y equals my slope times x minus the x value they gave us is 9. And then we'll have that plus the y value, which is 39. So simplifying this, I got 4x minus 4 times 9 is 36. Of course, plus is 39. And again, just combining like terms, we got our slope times the x, negative 36 plus 39 is a positive 3. All right, another inequality to graph. It seems like the last one was in slope-intercept form. So this one will definitely be a little bit different. And what do you guys want me to do to graph this? We change it to slope-intercept form or just find 2 points on the line? Slope-intercept, let's do it. All right, so I got 2x plus y is greater than or equal to 2. So I'll subtract 2x from both sides. And that gives me y is greater than or equal to 2 minus 2x. But to change this formally into slope-intercept form, not that everyone would need to. I had to get, again, we talked about this in class. We don't really need this to be greater than or equal to since we're solving for the line. This is just the equality part of this case. So y equals negative 2x plus 2. Sorry, my handwriting got bad there. But now we have our y-intercept, which is at 0, 2. And we got a slope, which is negative 2. I'll make that over 1. So I'll go down 2 to the right 1 from the y-intercept, down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1. And it goes in both directions, though. So now I got this line. That worked pretty good. Do we need to worry about dashing this thing up? No, we don't, because it's also equal to. So we just need to test a point, right? I really like the origin. 0, 0. So let's test this one out. And plug it back into the original. So I got 2 times 0 plus the y value is 0. Is this greater than or equal to 2? Well, that gives me 0 is greater than or equal to 2. That's false. And so I would need to shade the other side of that line. There we go. Some of you guys like the checkered effect of that. Or a happy tree, either way. Alright, here we have an equality again, so we're not worried about dashed or solid or shading. And we should be careful with that because sometimes we just kind of assume that it's one or the other. So, let's change this one to slope-intercept form as well, because last time we did one like this, we used the point, so let's do this one a little bit different. So, I'm going to take and add 8x to both sides. And I got negative 4y equals 8x. All I need to do now is get rid of that negative 4. And I got y equals negative 2x. Now if you really like, you can show the plus 0. That would give you your y-intercept. And from there would go, again, we got a slope of negative 2. Same with the last problem, right? We'll make that over 1. So down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1. And the pattern continues. And we got our line. That'll do it. Alright, here we have another parallel line that goes through parallel to y equals 5x minus 4. But it goes through this 2, 8 point. And we can see right here that the slope is 5. So it should have the same slope. It's just going to go through that point 2, 8. So, using point slope form, we got y equals the slope 5. And we got x minus, the x value it gave us was 2. And then the y value was 8. And if we simplify this, we'll distribute the 5. So 5x minus 10 plus 8 equals y. And just combine like terms. So 5x, negative 10 plus 8, is negative 2. Done. Find an equation for the line with slope negative 5/11 and goes through the point 44, 3. This is great because it gave us a nice fraction to use. This one comes out pretty good though, so don't worry about the fraction stuff, okay? Alright, so point slope form is what I'm going to do. And we can see that the slope they gave us was negative 5/11. And then it gave us the point 44, 3. So when I distribute this negative 5/11, I get y equals negative 5/11 x. And since we got minus a negative on that thing, that's going to become a plus. 5/11 times 44, I get 20 on that. And then all I need to do is combine my 20 and 3 to get 23. So y equals negative 5/11 x plus 23.